Jungle will test them all.
Apocalypto 2 is a fictional epic historical action drama film that continues the story of Jaguar Paw after the harrowing events of Apocalypto 2006. Set in the immediate aftermath of the Spanish arrival on the shores of Mesoamerica, the film explores the complete collapse of the Mayan world as foreign disease, religious conquest, and brutal colonization begin to spread inland. Jaguar Paw, now a hardened survivor and protective father, realizes that the new threat facing his people is far more dangerous than the tribal wars and sacrificial rituals he once escaped. While the Mayan civilization was already decaying from within due to corruption, fear, and environmental decline, the arrival of the Spanish accelerates its destruction beyond anything imaginable. Forced to flee once again, Jaguar Paw leads a small group of survivors through dense jungles and ruined cities, struggling to protect his family while witnessing the slow erasure of an entire culture. Unlike the first film, Apocalypto 2 places greater emphasis on cultural extinction, spiritual conflict, and moral ambiguity. Jaguar Paw encounters different tribes, some attempting to resist the invaders, others submitting in desperation or betraying their own people for survival. The film portrays the Spanish not simply as villains, but as an unstoppable force driven by faith, greed, and imperial ambition, contrasting sharply with the indigenous world's deep connection to nature and ancestral belief. Visually intense and emotionally heavy, the film uses minimal dialogue and powerful imagery to depict the clash between two civilizations, highlighting themes of identity, survival, and the cost of progress. Jaguar Paw's internal struggle becomes central as he questions whether survival alone is enough if it means watching his world disappear. The climax of Apocalypto 2 centers on a failed rebellion against the conquistadors, where Jaguar Paw fights not for victory, but to ensure that his children escape and remember who they are. Severely wounded and emotionally broken, he succeeds in guiding his family deep into unexplored jungle lands, choosing isolation over submission. The film ends on a haunting note, as Jaguar Paw teaches his children the stories, language, and traditions of their ancestors, determined to keep their culture alive even if civilization itself cannot be saved. Apocalypto 2 concludes as a tragic yet powerful meditation on survival without triumph, marking the end of an era and honoring the resilience of indigenous peoples whose histories were nearly erased by conquest. Apocalypto by Mel Gibson stirred up plenty of debate and opinions due to its inaccuracy, but it still stands as one of the best films ever made. The movie stars Rudy Youngblood as Jaguar Paw, Dalia Hernandez as Seven, Jonathan Brewer as Blunted, Morris Yellowhead as Flint Sky, Carlos Emilio Bees as Turtles Run, and a talented cast rounding out the story. The film follows Jaguar Paw, whose peaceful tribe is attacked by Mayans. They capture him and others, planning to offer them as sacrifices to their gods in hopes of ending their suffering from plague and drought. Theme-wise, Apocalypto shows Jaguar Paw's personal struggle with the downfall of the Mayan civilization, giving us a raw look at fear, survival, and what we leave behind. The film compares Jaguar Paw's fight to get back to his wife and son with the slow, painful collapse of a society crumbling from within. Characters like the cruel Zero Wolf and the human sacrifices offered by the Mayan elite show a culture facing its own end, whereas the arrival of Spanish ships hints at the never-ending cycle of conquest and change. The film kicks off with Jaguar Paw and his tribe hunting a massive wild boar to feed their tribe. Jaguar Paw, the eldest son of Flint Sky, the tribe's leader and father of 8 sons, takes part in the hunt. After the kill, they divide the boar's parts as per tradition. Curl Nose gets the liver, Smoke Frog gets the prized heart, and Cocoa Leaf ends up with the ears. As always, the Blunted gets stuck with the genitals, a part that he absolutely loathes. When Blunted complains, his father shoots him a stern look, and he reluctantly agrees. Blunted asks why he always gets this honor, only to be told it's a rite of passage for newcomers to the hunt. However, in all honesty, it's all just a running joke that the others have been playing on him for months. Blunted feels like an outsider in the tribe. It's not just because of the jokes, but also because he's been struggling to have children, something that weighs heavy on him. To help, his father, Flint Sky, gives him a special medicine, promising it will help him start a family. While the tribe is dividing up the boar, they come across a group of men who look like they haven't eaten in days. They are starving and desperate. These men claim that they're refugees from a land destroyed by invaders. Moreover, the men explain they're just passing through the forest in search of a fresh start. They even offer Flint Sky a share of their meager hunt in exchange for safe passage. The same night, the village elder speaks of humankind, blessed with everything by the gods, yet doomed by greed. He warns that man will take and take until there's nothing left, becoming a victim of his own desires. Not long after, the village is attacked by Mayan warriors who spare no one. They capture everyone they can, including women, elders, and children. Anyone who fights back, like Flint Sky, is killed to set an example. Flint Sky, who raised Jaguar Paw to be a fearless warrior, always taught him one thing. He has asked him never to let doubt or fear take root in your heart. If you do, they'll consume you and will render you weak and broken. Even as the odds stack against him, Jaguar Paw clings to his father's teachings. He hides his pregnant wife and son in a well and promises to come back. Afterward, he goes on a journey to save his people. The Mayans capture Jaguar Paw, his brothers, and their wives, leaving behind only the children, who are too young to pose a threat. After capturing every man and woman, the Mayans march their prisoners across the river toward their own village. Those who are too weak or injured to keep up are mercilessly tossed off a mountain to their deaths. Along the way, they come across a young girl sitting beside her mother's body, her skin covered in blisters that scream of some deadly disease. The girl tries to approach the group, but she is shoved back by a Mayan warrior using a stick. She warns the Mayans that their mighty civilization is on the brink of collapse. She foretells the coming of darkness and a man who carries the jaguar's spirit, saying he will bring about their downfall. The raiders arrive in a Mayan city, inhabited by thousands of people and slaves from different tribes. Everywhere you look, there's non-stop labor, workers hauling stones and wood to build massive structures. In the city, the captured men are painted blue, whereas the women are sold off as slaves. It's not long before Jaguar Paw and his brothers figure out what's in store for them. After capturing every man and woman, the Mayans march their prisoners across the river toward their own village. Those who are too weak or injured to keep up are mercilessly tossed off a mountain to their deaths. Along the way, they come across a young girl sitting beside her mother's body, her skin covered in blisters that scream of some deadly disease. The girl tries to approach the group, but she is shoved back by a Mayan warrior using a stick. She warns the Mayans that their mighty civilization is on the brink of collapse. She foretells the coming of darkness and a man who carries the jaguar's spirit, saying he will bring about their downfall. The raiders arrive in a Mayan city, inhabited by thousands of people and slaves from different tribes. Everywhere you look, there's non-stop labor, workers hauling stones and wood to build massive structures. In the city, the captured men are painted blue, whereas the women are sold off as slaves. It's not long before Jaguar Paw and his brothers figure out what's in store for them. The walls are covered with paintings that make it clear that they're to be offered as a sacrifice to the gods. The luck hasn't been lately on the Mayan side. Their crops have failed, disease and drought run rampant, and they believe sacrificing humans will turn things around. Just as they're about to sacrifice Jaguar Paw, the sky suddenly darkens with a solar eclipse. The Mayans take it as a sign that the gods are pleased and decide to spare the remaining captives. The Mayans may have decided against sacrificing the hostages, but they have another plan in mind. They give Jaguar Paw and his brothers a chance to earn their freedom by running through a gauntlet of spears and arrows. If they make it to the cornfield, they'll supposedly be set free. Blunted sacrifices himself so Jaguar Paw can escape. Jaguar Paw kills one of Zero Wolf's sons, which sets off a chain of events. Despite the promise of freedom, Zero Wolf decides to take revenge and sends his men after Jaguar Paw. While hiding in the jungle, Jaguar Paw encounters a jaguar, just as the little girl had predicted. After the jaguar attacks them, the Mayans hunting Jaguar Paw start to turn on each other. Some believe that the jaguar is a bad omen, that they've angered the gods by going after one of their own. Others ignore the little girl's prophecy as nonsense, saying it means nothing. As they chase Jaguar Paw, nature and his cunning plan take their toll on the group. One warrior is mauled by the jaguar. Another falls victim to a venomous snake, and tensions rise further when Zero Wolf kills one of his own men for suggesting they take a longer route instead of leaping straight into the waterfall. Jaguar Paw grew up hunting in this jungle with his father, so he knows it better than anyone. Using that knowledge, he turns the tables on Zero Wolf's men. First, he distracts the group by dropping a hive of bees on them. Then, one by one, he takes out the rest using poison and guerrilla tactics and traps his family set up for hunting animals. When only 2 Mayans are left, they abandon the chase after spotting Spanish soldiers arriving on ships to make contact with them. As the film nears its end, Jaguar Paw finds his wife, who has just given birth to a healthy baby boy. Together, they return to the jungle to start fresh. Apocalypto, directed by Mel Gibson, produced by his Icon Productions along with Touchstone Pictures, and released in 2006, is a film about revelation and revolution. The film follows a young tribesman named Jaguar Paw Youngblood, as his idyllic life is uprooted by raiders who enslave his people and prepare him and others for sacrifice to Mayan deity Kukulkan. Jaguar Paw's goal is to survive and make his way back to his expectant wife and their child who are trapped in a pit. Stripped of his tribe and with no home, he transforms from hunted to hunter as he claims his identity in life. The word apocalypse comes from the Greek for revelation, and indeed, as Jaguar Paw later gets an inkling, the film delivers on its titular promise. Through common use, we associate the word with destruction, specifically with the destruction that comes with the reckoning with and realization of destiny, revolution, and the divine. On an individual level, Jaguar Paw experiences the revelation of identity without fear, while on a group level, tribes and civilizations experience beginnings, endings, and even new beginnings beyond. In Apocalypto, Gibson foreshadows the end of a culture and civilization at the same time as the beginning of new life and opportunity take root. How the characters, as individuals and groups, deal with this in the film, and indeed, how we as an audience respond to them, given what we know of history, is what makes the film so special. A fact often skipped by history books that attack colonialism is that native peoples of lands newly discovered by Europeans also worshipped gods, waged war against one another, and destroyed their environments. Apocalypto does not use this fact to justify colonialism, as such a focus is not of the film but of our informed reactions. Rather, it bookends the film with the inevitability of destiny based on human nature. The frames between reveal the value of that human nature and what makes it worthwhile, even in, especially in, the face of an uncertain future. Controversial or not, an audience identifies with what is happening on the screen even though it is exotic from another time, in a place inhabited by people about whom we know nothing and who speak a language we have never heard. Our connection with them is nevertheless possible due to our innate understanding of ourselves, both as individual and as tribal animals, and of course how the characters are presented on the screen. Jaguar Paw's tribe is full of life, energy, irony, hope, laughter, tenderness, and insecurity. In other words, these people that are so far removed from any world we recognize are actually just like you and I. We are all insecure, which is why we form tribes. It's the ancient survival instinct for safety in numbers. This insecurity reveals itself in the Mayan sacrifices to Kukulkan and in great warriors fearing a weak, helpless child in the jungle. It is also revealed in Jaguar Paw's fear of another tribe, a crucial beginning to his arc. His fear of the unknown, something with which an entire civilization must reckon at the end of the film, is changed into self-confidence on his own, without his tribe, as he fights his way back to his family, pursued by the raiders. At the end of the film, completely transformed, Jaguar Paw, upon seeing a threat even greater than all faced before, reacts not with fear or panic but with serenity as he heads back into the forest. A worthy arc for an audience to behold, but it is not this transformation of a single figure that sustains our engagement. It is, rather, the way Gibson connects us to both protagonists and antagonists. Although the spoken language is alien to us, the inflection of their voices, their body language, and their pragmatism all connect us to the characters in a way that dialogue, even in our own language, never could. You see, dialogue, visual effects, sound diegetic or non-diegetic, and even editing are all embellishments on the art form to which we refer to as film or cinema or movies. Gibson, through his directing, not only gives us the spice of an ancient language, he gives us the communication of real people as animals. From the testicular practical jokes of Jaguar Paw's tribe to the terse, "he's fucked" analysis of a man bitten by a snake, we see in them our own nature. Cinematically, the film is presented with a wild, primal energy, but without being overbearing. Costumes are brilliant yet organic and believable. Economic and religious classes of the Mayans are apparent. Scenes of decadence, corruption, sacrifice, and striking natural phenomena intertwine to illustrate cinematic beauty, even in decay. The fluid combination of brutality and unexpected simultaneous humor, often dark, is, to me, the holy grail of film, both as art and as entertainment. Clearly, what appears to be an action movie is so much more. The goal of a director is to avoid drawing attention to the layers and artifice of a film in any obvious way. The fact that all of these elements exist without acutely drawing attention to themselves is a testament to Gibson's combination of vision and craftsmanship. As we see in the characters ourselves, so too do the characters. Even environments share traits and fates. Jaguar Paw's tribe is obliterated, just as the Mayan civilization will fall, just as the Spanish Empire will dissipate. Environmental disaster comes not only from physical abuse of Mayan land, but from corrupt leadership, social division, and spiritual decay, things with which we are familiar today. Gibson, who is observed with a wary eye due to personal issues that are none of my or your business, never clearly indicates a Christian agenda. The revelation that ends Apocalypto is something that continues sinking in after you've left the theater, gone home and found the occasional piece of popcorn in a crease in your trousers. In the immediacy of watching the film, still connected to the context of having experienced the rest of it, the arrival of the conquistadors resonates not through the lens of religious conversion, but through the lens of freedom and new life. You and I may know history, but to Jaguar Paw and his family who have just survived against incredible odds, their future in the forest supersedes whatever the strange, light-skinned men in the boats may bring. Mel Gibson decided to make an action movie in Mayan America, in Mayan. He really is a crazy person, and he's the exact kind of crazy person who should be getting tens of millions of dollars to make movies, because he took one of the weirdest ideas for a relatively large budgeted action movie and made it work pretty much flawlessly. He understands character, escalating tension, theme, and the mechanics of action filmmaking so well that he can seemingly do this in any environment and setting. Jaguar Paw is a young hunter in a small village in Mayan America before the arrival of Europeans. His father, Flint Sky, is a steadying hand that explains the movie's core concept, that fear is a disease. Brought on by the arrival of a terrified group from a foreign tribe passing through their forest for safety. From what they don't say, the advice ends up weaving through the rest of the movie rather elegantly. The opening scenes are mostly about building a sense of character around the archetypal hero and those around him, creating a strong sense of community in this small village. The movie takes its time to show us little moments like the mother-in-law to Blunted, who demands a grandchild, pushing him into his hut with his wife, and the effects of a prank that Flint Sky plays on Blunted in his quest for children. There's time with an old storyteller and the easy feeling of calm that rests over the village in normal times. Those times, of course, are not meant to last, and the reigning Mayan king's soldiers, led by Zero Wolf, arrive for captives. The attack on the village is filled with brutality, and it often becomes hard to watch when matched with Gibson's affinity for film gore. Hunters die defending their families. Women are carried off screen for rapes. Children are left crying helplessly as they watch their entire world burn before them, and it's all just the start. Jaguar Paw manages to get his wife and young son into a hole by the village, but he's captured before he can do anything else. Zero Wolf, along with his soldiers, including his son Cut Rock, lead the captives away from their village, tied together, over mountains, across rivers, and through a deforested area until they finally reach the city. The steady build of terror around these sites, matched by a well-executed soundtrack including an ominous score from James Horner, escalates until they reach the collection of pyramids at the city's center. The entire journey is about fear, calling back to Flint Sky's words to his son. Fear builds within everyone as they face physical challenges, brutality, and finally strange new sights with little to no explanation. This is where the choice to set the story in such an unfamiliar world to most viewers really pays off, because the new world ends up feeling as strange to the audience as to Jaguar Paw, allowing us to share in the base emotion. The ritual sacrifice at the movie's center is actually quite interesting. Based on looks that the priest and the nearby king share, it's obvious that they know that what they're doing will never appease Kukulkan, their god. Whether they believe in the god at all is up for grabs, but they've obviously timed the sacrifices with the solar eclipse they know is coming, using it to try and placate their screaming people below, providing some way to explain away the crop failures and disease that are undermining the society. The ruling elite have no real answers, so they descend into ceremony and fear for their people, to keep those people in line and themselves in power. And absolutely none of it is said explicitly. It's done through subtle looks from some characters we've never seen before. This is really the joy of cinematic storytelling. You can get so much from so little. So, Jaguar Paw is fortunate enough to be the one on the pedestal when the moon hides the sun, sparing his life. But the bloodletting was never for Kukulkan. Their lives were never important one way or the other to the ruling class. So what do they do with them when their role in the ruse is done? Dispose of them, of course. Jaguar Paw manages to get away, killing Cut Rock in the process, and the final chase is on. Zero Wolf has every motivation to pursue Jaguar Paw for days back to Jaguar Paw's forest. As Zero Wolf and his group of hunters gives chase, the hunters get picked off one by the forest, starting with an attack by actual jaguar. Fear grips them as they get closer to Jaguar Paw's forest, where he has the knowledge of the land and the advantage. The action is dynamic and exciting while also clear and easy to understand. The best bit is probably when Jaguar Paw does a large circle from a single spot to get behind the approaching hunters and hit one with some poison darts. Apocalypto is a journey into another world filled with strange sights and sounds. It's so far removed from most people's experiences that it's almost like it's set on a different planet. But that's wholly to the movie's advantage. The film leans strongly into that strangeness while telling a very clear story of there and back again with a central character who has a clear motivation for getting back to help the woman and child he left in a hole with no way out to protect them. The antagonists have motives that are just as clear and understandable. The simple nature of the story is partially key in the telling of a tale in a place so far removed from what the audience knows. And more importantly, Gibson keeps the intensity and interest up for a whole 140 minutes. Apocalypto is just a great action film and a great time at the movies. Mel Gibson has become a name that is synonymous with controversy. In my opinion, regardless of what Gibson has said or did, it's important to separate an artist from his work. For this particular filmmaker, he's proven himself to be quite a talent, with his most well-known epic films being the modern classic Braveheart and the meticulously made Passion of the Christ. In 2006, Gibson took epic filmmaking to a new level with his severely underrated film Apocalypto. Movies are a very exciting thing, and when one this huge is made with so much attention to small details along with a captivating and exciting story, I almost lose myself in thinking about it. This movie is a masterpiece. Jaguar Paw Rudy Youngblood, who along with his father and many friends, is a hunter in the jungles of Central America during the collapse of the Mayan civilization. Jaguar Paw's village is separate from all that, as these people live a peaceful, secluded life. One morning, the village is attacked by a warrior named Zero Wolf, Raoul Trujillo, and his followers. They kill many villagers, but take many to bring back to the Mayan city, either to be sold into slavery or be sacrificed to the gods. Jaguar Paw manages to escape from his Mayan captors and begins a chase through the thick Central American jungle to get back to his wife, Delia Hernandez, and son, Carlos Emilio Bees. With the vengeful Zero hot on his trail, Jaguar Paw has to think like a hunter once again if he's ever going to see his family again. From the opening shot of the jungle existing naturally without any interference to the very last shot that bookends the film both visually and thematically, Apocalypto is a gorgeous movie. Shot on location in Mexico, very little computer-generated images were used in favor of showing the natural majesty that these jungles have to offer. It makes for exciting chase sequences through the thicket and roaring waters. A lot of credit has to go to the stunt team for making these kind of high-speed chases through territory like this possible. When the characters are in the Mayan city about halfway through the movie, it's even harder to believe that most of what is seen is not computer-generated. Like the epics of the 1950s, including Ben-Hur and the Ten Commandments, The towering structures were actually built by a team of set designers. It's an incredible sight to behold and made me feel like I was looking through a portal to a time long since past. I said earlier that the attention to detail is extremely impressive in this movie. Much like with the Passion of the Christ, all of the dialogue in Apocalypto is spoken in an approximation of what language would have been used in that time or place. In this case, the language is Yucatec Maya. It's a decision that makes it so much easier to immerse yourself in the world that has been created. It's obvious that this was one of the main intentions of Gibson's from the very beginning. Other than taking the time to get this language down properly and film all the scenes with it, it's important to recognize the costume design and makeup. It boggles my brain how this movie didn't get any Oscars for its costuming and makeup. There are hundreds of extras in this movie along with the handful of main players, and each one of these people have a unique makeup and costume design. This is an enormous undertaking, and it's a cinematic feat that I've never seen anything like before. While the story itself isn't anything too groundbreaking or complex, it's enough to keep the action and adventure moving at a quick pace. Apocalypto is not a short movie with its run time closing in on 2.5 hours, but never was I bored throughout the entire movie. There's a surprising amount of time building up the characters that will be present throughout the movie, and I was surprised by how much I really cared for Jaguar Paw and his family and friends. Once the attack happens, the villagers are taken to the Mayan city. The plot feels like it's shot out of a cannon, and the excitement doesn't stop until the closing credits. Apocalypto is one of those movies that reminds me why I love movies so much. It's kind of a cheesy thing to refer to movies as magic, but sometimes I don't know what else to call them. Apocalypto is pure movie magic and an achievement that is greatly underappreciated. The fine attention to detail mixed with loads of excitement, action, and adventure makes this a movie that I won't forget for quite a long time. There's something of that spirit in Mel Gibson's Apocalypto, in which the characters speak Yucatec Mayan throughout. You might see that as a gimmick. The counter-argument is that it adds to the film's sense of authenticity, the way you can almost picture the language growing from the jungle environment and lack of contact with the outside world. Similarly, the film works hard to build the Mayan world, based on existing sites that are still in existence, with a level of imagination thrown in. The aim of the film is to create a place you have never seen before, a civilization that is now buried in history but once thrived and grew strong. Much of the film's point is that even those good times are in the past. The Mayan culture depicted in Apocalypto is dying, suffering from seasons of drought and unable to explain what's happened beyond the anger of their gods. They start offering human sacrifices in an attempt to regain divine favor. The film follows Jaguar Paw Rudy Youngblood, a young hunter who's part of a peaceful Olmec tribe living in the Mesoamerican forests of Mexico. His is presented as an almost paradisaical existence, dependent on hunting tapirs and other jungle animals, yet happy in his little tribe, where everything is based on families and the circle of life. One night, his village is raided by Mayan warriors, and Jaguar has just enough time to get his heavily pregnant wife, 7 Delia Hernandez, and young son, to safety inside a deep vertical pit before he's captured. Tied to a pole alongside other survivors whom the raiders haven't killed, he's led across country to the teeming Mayan city, where they are all to be sacrificed by having their hearts cut from their bodies and then beheaded. A resigned Jaguar Paw is led to the chopping block, but before he can be killed, a solar eclipse occurs, which the Mayan priests interpret as a favorable sign. The remaining Oleks are no longer needed and led to the warriors' training area to be slaughtered. Jaguar Paw manages to escape and makes it back into the jungles, pursued hotly by a band of fighters, led by the legendary Zero Wolf, Carlos Emilio Baez. As the wounded hero starts a desperate race back to the remains of his village, it starts to rain, and the water levels in Seven's pit rise. The attention to detail in Apocalypto is simply outstanding. Considering it's a film costing a comparatively modest $40 million, they create an entire city featuring thousands of extras, all wearing costumes and hair decorations that make clear their status in society, from the king with his enormous, feathered cape, through to the poor clad in rags. The contrast between the pastoral Olmec village and the city is also stark. Whereas the former depicts a real community in which everyone knows each other and laughs together, the city is a decadent ruin in waiting, overcrowded, motivated by selfish desire, and with a pall of sickness surrounding it. The overall effect is astonishing, a riot of color and endless sights, so vivid that it's almost possible to smell the food, blood, and sweat. All the more impressive considering that Apocalypto, at heart, is an old-fashioned action-adventure, an almighty chase through the jungle that never lets up. It works because the odds against Jaguar Paw seem so high the caliber of those pursuing him. Being in the middle of nowhere, the fact he's taken an arrow wound before he even starts. Zero Wolf makes for a brilliant warrior. There's a genuine sense of elation about his pursuit because he actually has something worth chasing for a change, not just rounding up miserable villagers for the sacrificial block. True, Jaguar Paw has killed his son when beginning his escape attempt, but it feels like this is subservient to the sheer thrill of the chase, the opportunity to prove himself as a high-caliber hunter at last. And yet it emerges the fleeing hero is just as capable in his environment, using all manner of natural resources to deal with Zero Wolf's men. At one thrilling, albeit gory stage, a jaguar is involved. I admit I was thrilled from the start of the chase, overwhelmed by the visual treats beforehand. The heel turned out to be Gibson himself, involved in a string of discrepancies and saying some very unfortunate things in the build-up to Apocalypto's release. The director's character was a divisive element in his own film's success, ensuring its share of awards and box office were not all they could have been. Arguments have been posited that the film is entirely allegorical, returning to themes that had been explored in his previous The Passion of the Christ, and suggesting an unhealthy level of anti-Semitism. I suppose those elements are present if you want them to be. Personally, I didn't get any of that and suspect there's an element of digging too deeply into the alleged meanings behind what is a reasonably straightforward story. An altogether sad turn of events because Apocalypto, almost unique and at times savage, is a blast. Apocalypto was not the movie I thought it was going to be. I expected an epic set in the fabricated history of a lost culture, but Mel Gibson's pre-Columbian tale is actually more of an action movie with subtitles. Apocalypto has a bit of a split personality that way. Action movies typically don't have subtitles because studios usually don't expect action movie fans to want to read their movie. Subtitled movies usually deal with deeper human themes and complex emotional conflicts, but not this one. While on one hand bringing the Mayan culture to cinematic life, the actors speak in Yucatec Mayan. This movie only gives us a small glimpse of its most notorious part, the human sacrifice. If you want to learn about Mayan history and what life was like back then, this is not the movie to base your term paper on. The cultural part is essentially the dressing on a classic story of one man's struggle to fight his enemies and save his family. Taken captive with most of his village, our young hunter hero Jaguar Paw stages a very lucky escape after he is spared the sacrificial blade himself. Having gotten on the bad side of the enemy's head thug, he killed the guy's favorite son. Jaguar Paw must make his way through the jungle to get back home in time to save his pregnant wife and young son. He stashed them in the bottom of a pit to hide them from the invaders when they first came to the village. Other reviewers have made the obvious cinematic pun of nicknaming this movie Run, Jaguar Paw, Run, because like the original Lola of German cinema fame, Jaguar Paw does spend a lot of time running. I found it a bit unbelievable how relentlessly he could run, especially as injured as he was, as well as how relentlessly his pursuers followed him. After a soothing mud bath, I wonder which spa paid for the product placement he is inspired to fight back in John McLean. Yippee-ki-yay style, and as his fight with his pursuers reaches a zenith, they see something in the ocean that takes them all aback. I'm not going to reveal what that is, but you can probably guess. Typical tacked on poly-historical agenda. It's kind of a lame ending. Anyway, while I was pretty disappointed with the aforementioned cultural details of the Mayan civilization, I've been waiting for a Mayan movie since grade 6, folks. The chase between the bad guys and Jaguar Paw was pretty exciting. They even added a bit of peril for the Mrs. Paw and Jaguar JR to spice it up a bit. If you put aside the attempts by Gibson at trying to develop the historical context, it's not a bad movie. It wasn't even as bloody or gory as all the reviews make it sound. Yes, there's head rolling, but from a distance. Yes, there's ripping out of hearts, but you don't see the actual ripping, and it looks pretty fake anyway. I was going into the theater ready for a hemo-drenched splatterama. It wasn't that bad, but I was very surprised at the family sitting behind me with a 3 or 4-year-old son. Hey kid, that little boy that they put down the hole to save him from the savage slaughter of all his friends and family kind of looks like you? Okay, now I'm just being mean. At least there was some educational value. We learned that the Mayans used ant mandibles to create sutures to stitch up open wounds. Those clever Mayans? Okay, that's the last one. From the crowds worshipping at the sacrificial pyramid, to the savage attacks and battles, to Jaguar Paw's guerrilla tactics to take out the enemy, at the end of the day, no one does brutal, violent action movies set in a past historical context like Mr. Gibson. Don't let the pretentious title or tagline fool you. No one can outrun their destiny, my Aztec. If you're going to enjoy it, just enjoy those other qualities.